I paid $459 for a refurbished Xbox Series X from GameStop, but did they actually do anything? And if they did, what was it? This video is sponsored by Ifixit, more on them in a minute. Cleaned, tested, guaranteed. Apparently this was a great value. That's good to know. So I'm assuming we have the controller in this little box first. Let's see if it's been sanded down. We got batteries, and we've also got HDMI and power cable, as well as this. Cool pictures. Won't be needing those. So here we go with the controller. Looks a little dirty right here. Let's get some IPA and a Q-tip and see if that comes off. Yeah, all the dirt's coming off fine. Apparently they sterilized it, but maybe didn't clean it. So we've got number 464. The controller has not been taken apart before. Oh, we got some more dirt up here. Okay, so overall, I mean, I'd give this an okay grade. It is in good condition, which is nice. It hasn't been sanded down, which is also nice. And other than it being a little dirty, it looks pretty good. Now let's have a look at the console itself. We have decent padding on it. And it definitely has been opened up, so this should be interesting to see what exactly they did inside of it. So there definitely are some scratches on it, and it looks like this part has been sanded. But the nice thing is that they used a much finer grit, so it's actually a very light sanding. I'm still not a fan of it, but at the same time, it is much better than the sanding I've seen before. The power button definitely has been sanded as well. That's unfortunate. The bottom looks decent, and so does the top. So now I'm gonna get this Xbox plugged in and let's see if it'll start up. Let's see if this front USB port works. Okay, the controller vibrated, so it probably does work. Okay, here we go, Xbox logo. So we have the Xbox Series X all started up. Everything seems normal. Let's put a disc in and make sure the disc plays. Then we'll try and test the controller, and then we'll take it apart and see what exactly they refurbished on the inside. Okay, and let's try a disc in it. Okay, and there we go. Reading the disc just fine. Let's test this controller, and then we'll open this thing up. So I was able to get my controller connected to the gamepad tester, so let's just go through and check buttons. All those buttons are good. Those buttons are good. D-pad's good. All those buttons are good. Now let's check thumbsticks. Okay, the right thumbstick's good. And the left thumbstick is good. So this controller is in great condition. Let's open this Xbox up and see what exactly they did to refurbish it. Now that it's time to take the back cover off, I'm gonna be using my Ifixit Protect Toolkit. This is the driver kit that comes inside of the Protect Toolkit. I use this for basically everything. Sometimes I use the larger Ifixit Manta set, and the Manta set is just larger. It has the smaller driver as well as the larger driver, and then a whole bunch of the larger bits for taking apart things that are a little bit bigger. I love Ifixit Tools. I recommend them to everyone because they're super high quality tools. They have a great warranty, and the people that work at Ifixit are just good people. But keep in mind that Ifixit isn't just a tool seller. They offer a ton of parts, and one of my favorite things about Ifixit is they offer repair guides for lots and lots of electronics. And lastly, but certainly not least, Ifixit is really pushing for right to repair laws, and that's something I can wholeheartedly get behind. If you're interested in any of this stuff, you can go to ifixit.com/TronicsFix. I have a link right in the description that'll take you right there. So we need to remove this little warranty sticker right here. And this is a T8 bit that I'll be using for this screw. Actually, almost every screw in this thing requires a T8 bit, so. Okay, and off with the back cover. Let's see if we can figure out what they did just with the back cover off. Do you see anything that might give us some hints? So if you look, we've got some sort of something on the board. And I'm guessing this is flux, probably because they replaced this HDMI port. But did they apply the perfect amount of thermal paste? When they did that? Let's find out. So in order to find out, we need to disassemble this console pretty much entirely. Okay, and now we've got our internal assembly removed. Let's have a look at the heatsink, make sure that's nice and clean. Oh yeah, that's pretty clean. Okay, good so far. Okay, let's remove this cover. And that gets us in here, and I see no issues so far. Now we can remove the power supply, no issues there. And now we can remove the next layer. And now we can remove this top board. Nothing crazy going on here. After that, we can remove this middle aluminum piece and check out the HDMI port. Okay, everything looks good. We got the thermal paste right here. Some of it stuck to here, that's fine. So this right here is sort of an issue. It's really not too big of an issue. This is the thermal paste material, and you can see how it's kind of smashed out down here. Probably when they were taking it off, they might have smashed it with their finger or something. So the problem with that is then the part that it needs to be on is right here to insulate these or take heat away from these chips down here. So when it's smashed down here like that though, there's not very much contact or no contact right here. So the best thing to do is get this all scraped back up as much as you can up to the area where it's supposed to be. And then once you put that aluminum plate back on, then that'll ensure good contact up there. Again, probably not a huge deal, but I mean, it is here for a reason, so we want to keep this thing as cool as possible. We'll just put it up there like that, and that should help it have better contact with these chips right here. Okay, and now we can remove this shield. It's interesting that this is kind of a brown color. Don't really see that usually, but probably not a problem. Now, one thing I noticed when I was taking this clamp off is this little component right here. Right here, the top of it, the top corner has just been kind of broken off. Now, that's not really a big deal. This is just a coil in there, but still, I mean, it's not the best thing, but it's not going to affect how it runs, or at least it shouldn't. And now with the clamp off, we can remove this board and see what that HDMI port looks like, and more importantly, see if it has the perfect amount of thermal paste. Okay, so, I mean, at least there is thermal paste there. Here's the problem though. And honestly, I don't know how much of a problem this is, but what they did is they just took a thermal paste and put it on over top of the old thermal paste. Instead of cleaning off the old thermal paste and then putting the new paste on, they just kind of put new thermal paste on here and then put this board back in and let it smash together. Like I said, I don't know how big of a deal that is. It probably works fine like this, but I feel like it's probably not ideal for heat transfer, and in my opinion, it's just kind of a quick and somewhat sloppy job. Again though, it probably will work just fine for quite a while like that. Let's take a look at that HDMI port and see how good of a job they did there. And here's the bottom side of the port. These are the mounting pins, and these are the mounting pins, and the bottom side actually looks pretty good. Let's take a look at that top side. And here we are with the top side. It actually doesn't look too bad. Each of these pins, at least so far, are soldered on nice and tight. They're lined up nicely. And to me, it looks like a pretty good quality job. So the HDMI repair on this refurbished Series X looks pretty good. Let's get that thermal paste taken care of though. All right, here we go. This just makes me feel so much better getting this mix of thermal pastes off. And here we go. And that is the perfect amount of thermal paste if I've ever seen it. Now we can install this back onto the heatsink and get the rest of the Xbox assembled. So overall, this Xbox Series X really wasn't too bad. I'm a little disappointed in the condition of the thermal paste, but other than that, they actually did a pretty good job, in my opinion, of replacing the HDMI port. So I give GameStop a B-. If you want to see a video where I bought a refurbished PS4 from GameStop that wasn't in quite as good a condition, I'll put a link for that video up on your screen now. I think you might like it. If you want to buy some of the best electronics repair tools on the market, go to ifixit.com/TronicsFix. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have a good one.